And BB, hold on, everybody be quiet. Ask 𝗣𝗑𝗬𝗍𝗧, what's your question? Are you basically cooked with your trading? What does that mean exactly? Can you ask that again? Everybody stop and let's ask 𝗣𝗑𝗬𝗍𝗧. What exactly do you mean by that? What are you trying to say? At her, I mean, we're confused. What's your question? This is a soft press, it's not a deep press. What are you asking? We want to know. Is my performance up more than 0%? First of all, it's none of your business. First of all, for real. Sarah is a men's name? Oh, you're not from this country. Sarah? Bro, that's not a man's name. Are you Habibi? What country are you from? Sarah is a man's name. I don't even know who I'm debating. Nobody sent me a debate invite. What's going on with Applovin? Yeah, I mean, fully diluted market cap is a normal, that's a metric. Applovin's barely, I mean, it's cratering, but it's kind of barely down relative to the huge run it's been on. I mean, this is the part where they get in trouble, right? I mean, this is what everyone was worried about with Applovin. You can invest in Goodell. You email me, martin@dl.software. Let's sign up for, I mean, SEC can probe them, but the SEC is not, it's a securities body. It's not a, I mean, it's not really a general oversight like the DOJ would have to probe them. It's not the SEC's job to probe companies' operations. It's their job to probe their disclosures, their financials, those kinds of things. But yeah, Applovin, I mean, it doesn't seem like this will be enough to destroy the company. I know everybody wants to short it, but it's where it was literally a month ago. I'm almost tempted to buy some because it's just such an unstoppable beast. Everyone hates it. They're a consent farm, right? The CEO of a software company called DL Software. We make one software product called Goodell. It's 𝗥𝗘𝗢𝗔𝗍𝗔𝗍.com. It's a alternative to other financial information terminals. So I wouldn't say I make a living by any of those things, but I don't know, it's kind of none of your business. I'm a terrible chess player. I wish I was a good chess player. You know, and I'm mental blocks on how to get better at chess. It's pretty similar to how to get better at other games. The stock market's a weird game. It's got its own game properties that, you know, for example, for spruce, you know, I just know this space so well. You know, rare disease business is just that's been my thing forever. I mean, I still think it's got a lot of upside just because what is a rare disease drug? What is an LSD worth? You know, like I said, that slide. And again, it's incomplete, interestingly, and I know this because this is like my field, but you have to add a couple more. These are 6 lysosomal storage drugs, but they didn't include myozyme. They actually didn't include a bunch of them, but I don't mean to pick on these guys. But the market cap was 400, or I'm sorry, the average revenue of those 6 drugs was 400. I wouldn't even include the dud. So say 400 or 500. I mean, 400 or 500 peak sales for a rare disease drug is worth a lot. I mean, this is kind of shortchanging it. But you know, it's good to make a model and stick to the model. You don't have to pump the numbers because you feel like it. You know, make the best model you can. And the one I made spits out, you know, almost $1,000 a share. In my history in biopharma, I mean, it's pretty reasonable. Now, of course, you know, the stock goes up a lot and you say, I missed it, but that's, like I said, cover up the share price, just do the model and say, what will this drug sell? This is really easy. You know, this is not like programming. Programming's hard. Millions of people program. Doing this thing takes 10 minutes. You know, you do the years, how many people have the disease, what's the price, how much will it sell, how many people will take it. You know, that's it. You know, there's not much, you know, there's really not much else to do. You do this discounted formula, NPV, you know, and you sort of, the last thing you do when you do these forecasts though is you don't want to, a lot of these you can do in your head, by the way, but I recommend doing it on paper. But the only cardinal sin of forecasting is when you try to fit the numbers to the situation you want. And that's kind of the time when everything goes. You don't want to do that. As long as you make an honest effort to do the forecast and accept the results however which way they come, then you can believe in the number. And there's still open questions, like if you have, somebody asked earlier, if you have Sanfilippo and you're 12 years old, should you take this drug? And I think the answer is yes. I mean, I don't think you want to not take the one drug that could save your life. At the same time, if you're profoundly sick, should the healthcare system be paying for your medicine? Typically, the answer is, they don't care. They'll pay because it's only one patient here and there. It's not millions of diabetes patients, for example. I don't know. That's kind of awesome. Coworker just handed me a fun book. There's a lot that can be said about this book. It's called 𝗠𝗿𝗬𝗣𝗔𝗍. It's a famous book. It's 1,000 pages, 700 pages of nonsense. I read this book like 6 times. Partially the name for the company. People read this book and either they think it's the smartest thing they've ever read, or I think it's kind of like, maybe it's just kind of stuff a lot of people already know, especially since the guy wrote it a long time ago. And it's also a little bit, the guy loves himself quite a bit, and you can tell, he really thinks he's the smartest person alive. And I always hate books like that. I don't like a lot of Nassim Taleb's books for that reason. This is like all stuff a lot of educated people know already. And, by presenting it, they feel like, oh my gosh, I'm a genius. Well, I said earlier that I thought AMD would hit 200 or less, and it looks like it's finally starting to drop. I'm shocked that AMD would give OpenAI 10% of their company. What a masterful deal by OpenAI. I mean, how in the world, who would do that? Who would say, oh, here's buy my product, I'm going to give you, if you buy my product, I'm going to give you 10% of my company. What? I mean, if JP Morgan came to me and said, we're going to buy 1,000 Godel terminals, will you give us 10% of Godel? I'd say yes, that's a win-win. And that's kind of what these guys are kind of claiming, but AMD's a big company. AMD's been around a long time. I don't know, is OpenAI's imprint that valuable? It's kind of crazy to me. After hours trading is now free for spruce. I like that price too. See if there's any news here. KalVista, Biomea Fusion. Positive 52-week results from phase 2. You have to live in New York to work at my company because that's where we all live. We don't like remote. Fair price for APPIAN, I don't know. My favorite part of Godel is this thing we're building where the sell-side research, sell-side research isn't perfect, but it's useful and you can't get it anywhere else other than a handful of, there are a handful of places you could get it reported. Barclays, we gained greater insight into the evolving APPIAN story. The move up market over the past years carried various consequences like sales disruption. The company is seeing more stability now, though, and the hope is for better times ahead. That sounds like a company struggling, not a company that's got its stock price where it's got it. We hosted the company's CEO and CFO for investor meetings in Boston. APPIAN has not been an investor favorite for a while. I mean, it's gone up a lot. And the fact that the company's large public shareholder, Abdeel Capital, reduced its position meaningfully over the last months did not help. Yeah, I like ANAB. I looked at it. I can do 4. I could do right now. Yeah, chemistry is good to learn. No need for congratulations. I mean, when you see a winner, you just have to pounce. That's part of investing. But yeah, I think it's going to get on some screens that, a lot of hedge funds and just investors in general never knew about this company. I didn't. But I know a rare disease drug when I see one. That's pretty simple. Pretty simple win. There's a 4:30 call. Biotech call. But yeah, there's a 4:30 call already on some biotech accounts on X, and that sounds like it's worth. Market cap is still 100 million, which is insane. 100x. We'll make sure you sign up for Godel, godelterminal.com, and keep it coming. We'll have more and more ideas and more success together. Yeah, it should be the same price as Larimar. Larimar's targeting a bigger market, but the drug's not as clean, right? The drug's pretty toxic. Yeah, Abdeel is, what are they exactly? How much of Applovin do they own? I mean, you can have a portfolio. It's not one thing is better than the other, for crying out loud. 6%? I mean, it's still 10 billion bucks, right? Something crazy like that. Oh, it's long only. I didn't know that. I don't think options flow is really that. I mean, if you're really interested in a stock, you know, and you're really, really all over it, then I guess so. But like, yeah, I don't know if I would spend too much time on options flow. Learn fundamental investing. You know, if you're really in the weeds of a stock, you know, it could be relevant, but it's not really what I like to do unless I'm really like trading size. Most individual investors aren't trading size. Now, if you think you can get something out of it, I just don't know. I bought it this morning when I saw it on most. You guys could probably see me. So I saw it, and I think you guys probably, if you rewind, you'll see where I'm like, huh? I'm like, how? And once you see me get quiet like that, there's only one reason I'm getting quiet like that. Take a wild guess. And then I minimize everything, and I'm like, you see me go to the other room for a minute. I don't think any shorters are playing. I don't think anybody short the stock. It was 20 million market cap. Who's short the stock? That'd be very weird. It was 𝗍𝗔𝗬𝗣𝗔𝗍. Look, I don't really have anything against 𝗍𝗔𝗬𝗣𝗔𝗍. I don't love what they did, but at the same time, I respect the fact that, you know, one, they told me they wouldn't do it again. Super nice. And also that, you know, we're in the same business. They have always been really nice to me. Just a little bit, you know, more people to get a chance to, more Godel customers to get a chance to buy it. Really buy a three-ler? That's really funny. Yeah, they have to dilute. They obviously have to dilute. But at this price, it's much cheaper cost of capital. It might even be 200 before they dilute. So you don't have to sell too many shares. And then let's say they have 1.5 million shares. I mean, that's still low market cap. You know, the enormous gains are, I mean, we're sort of halfway done. Oh, yeah, I think the easy move is, when I think about stocks, sometimes I think about like, what's the easy move? And again, this is now getting into stock psychology, which I really don't believe in. But like, if you tell a hedge fund the stock's worth $1 billion and the stock's at 500 million, they're kind of like, that's more or less what it's already at, right? It's a double, but it's not like, there's error bars around what a stock could be or couldn't be, right? It's not like it's some simple. So the easy move is when it stops being like, oh, I don't even have to think about it, this is a no-brainer. So I think a good chunk, you know, around probably half the easy move is done. The hard move is the one where it's like, okay, I really gotta sit down and do diligence and think about this, because I don't know for sure if, you know, this is gonna be big. But at 100 million market cap, you're like, I barely need to, I mean, you should always do due diligence, but you're kind of like in this, like, this is a really good situation. But once the market cap goes up, it always behooves you to do due diligence, but it really behooves you when the proposition is you're going to buy at 500 and sell at $1 billion. You really need to make a lot of calls and talk to management, figure it out. But based on what I know, it was enough for me to pull the trigger. Yeah, the size before the raise is always tough too. I mean, you have to be willing to do the raise typically, which is not for everybody. Man, it's going very. Yeah, it's moving very, it's kind of strong. That's funny, Gavin, I haven't seen any of that. They would call for the offering. You know, they would put out a press release and make a call. I don't think they'd do an ATM. Do they have an ATM? If they have an ATM, they might hit the ATM. But I think typically they do, you know, a registered direct or some kind of public offering. No, I don't think so, Charles. I think that, yeah, you know, most people do like to buy shorted stocks because there tends to be some momentum behind them, but I don't think anything's personal because of me. No, Spook. We're meant to be a platform for institutional investors that do serious research, not meant for plays. We don't do plays. That's a kid's term. We're serious investors. Nobody here is doing plays. No, I barely knew SPRB existed. I basically didn't know it existed. And then I saw it and I said, oh, I know lysosomal storage diseases, like the back of my hand. I know Sanfilippo B or MPS 3B. I mean, I cut my teeth on mucopolysaccharidosis, the MPS diseases with biomarin. And so this is my space. Like, this is my domain, you know? Like, sometimes that's your thing, that's my thing. Yeah, the Benzinga thing was frustrating because everybody would have benefited at the same time, all the Godelians, but I think a lot of us still got some of the action. No, I'm still short quantum. Yeah, the sell-side research is definitely going to be one of our key attractions, expert network. We're going to do a lot of stuff that none of the traditional retail platforms do because they're really institutional stuff. Appian created the no-code, low-code software space? Oh, this is Appian, not Applovin. Jesus Christ. Appian and Applovin are extremely different. Oh, Benchmark's part of StoneX? I didn't know that. Applovin is entering the second phase of growth with self-serve e-commerce, international expansion, set to unlock a significantly larger addressable market, Applovin's addition to S&P, self-serve launch, buybacks. I don't know if Godel will go public or not. Well, Raymart's, then you know who to go with. I think the biggest thing people are concerned about with Applovin is the whole, how are they getting this consent? You know, the consent farming is something a lot of people are really cautious and nervous about these days. This stupid spruce, because I'm not in the drug industry anymore and I'm not focused on it every day. I'm focused on my software company. That's my main obligation. It was really frustrating that I didn't really know about this drug. You know, I used to know everything about every drug, and I just don't. I mean, if I'm not going to be in the drug industry, then I'm not going to do that. And I love the software industry. I like the software industry more than the drug industry. But it's just annoying because I don't know if, you can't really do everything, you know? But that's why I'm looking to hire a biotech analyst to help me out. Yeah, I put it in the Godel paid channel, and what I was hoping is that people would have time to buy it. But then Zynga took it and ran like crazy with it. I think they work for Godel. If you're making content for Godel, basically. Whoa, 180 what? How? 180, oh my god. Unbelievable. QBTS is a scam, yes. D-Wave is a complete scam. There's zero doubt in my mind. 0.0000% doubt. I mean, they're gonna dilute for sure, but I mean, whoever's gonna do the deal, the offering, they're just gonna buy it, right? Don't sell, it'll make it go higher. I'm just kidding. You should sell if you're up a lot. There's no reason to be a pig if it's tripled your money or something. You know, you can just sell and come back to it if you want, or, you know, if it's a big position, like you gotta understand what you're trading, right? I've been following lysosomal storage diseases literally my whole life. It's just the one thing on God's green earth that I know a lot about, right? If that's not you, you know, sell a little bit and go read. 10 is a scam, that's how it works. That's how it works. Orange is different. Orange is not 10. Especially if the CEO, well, you know, if he's from China, then he's a scam. If he's from China, then he's a scam. Brian, you can thank me by subscribing to Godel Terminal, godelterminal.com. Join us today. What can you get at Godel Terminal that you can't get elsewhere? We have 2 times the news that Bloomberg has per ticker, 10 times the news or more than TradingView. We've got all the international stocks. We've got a great and vibrant community. We've got sell-side research. We've got portfolio tools. We've got quantitative tools. We've got it all. How much would you say? Like Bloomberg, $2,500 a month? $1,000 a month? No, it's only $80 a month. TradingView is fine, but it doesn't have any news. It certainly doesn't have any quantitative tools. It certainly doesn't have any sell-side research. It certainly doesn't have any buy-side directory. TradingView makes you feel like all of Wall Street doesn't exist. It's an isolating tool. It was made by, and meant for the trader in his attic trading 50K. Wall Street's a big place. I bring you to the street. Okay, Brian, then add a user using the org, put ORG, and add family member. I don't care if they use the product. Pay again. Pay double. Post hoc ergo propter hoc. You saw it happen, so it must be true, right? That is the faulty logic. You know, sometimes you just get lucky. You know, a lot of people say, "Oh, Martin, you're early to quantum. You timed it. You messed up the timing." What about this one? I literally was instant profits. Sometimes, the first dirty joke I ever heard. Okay, I was in 5th grade. Not the first, but it was the first one I remember. You know, it's a bunch of pirates or ship hands on a ship, and there's a barrel. And the ship hand's cleaning the deck, and the ship hand goes, "Hey, you know how the barrel works?" He goes, "What's the barrel? What is it?" He goes, "The barrel's got a hole in it. And if you put your you-know-what in the hole, you get a you-know-what, a BJ." And the guy said, "Really?" And he said, "Yeah, you should try it." And he goes and he tries it and he says, "Wow, man, that was great. I can't believe it." And the next day he goes up and he's just using the thing every day, right? And one day he goes and he puts his thing in and he says, "What's going on? It's not happening." And the ship hand taps him on the shoulder, says, "It's your turn inside the barrel." So, you know, the point I'm making is that it's just one of these things where some days you're right, some days you're right away, some days you're right after a year, some days you're right after 3 days, some days you're right after 3 months, some days you're wrong immediately, some days you're wrong after 3 months, some days you're wrong after a year. It's all the gamut, and it's pretty much normally distributed. You can trick yourself into thinking, why am I so early on my trades? Let me put them on later. And then you're too early. I gotta put them all on right away. Oh, then I'm too early, you know. No, I've always said I like AKRO. It's literally on the top of my screen. This is where I put my logs. It's been there for months. I've always liked AKRO. It's up here with all my other logs like ABIVAC, Sarepta, AKRO, PGen, ANAV, EQ. I'm sure I'm gonna give it all back when IonQ goes to 500. I saw the news. I didn't know this company from a hole in the wall, and I saw the news that they have a lysosomal storage disease drug. I cut my teeth on Wall Street with lysosomal storage disease drugs. Those were the first kinds of drugs I really looked at. So I bought it 30, I bought all over the place. I think I maybe started at 40, bought all the way down, maybe 35 average. Then I told the Goldell users, then I tweeted about it. Oh, I got a good place for you to go on a date. Go to Hudson Yards, 30 Hudson Yards, go to a place called Peak, P-E-A-K. That's a good first date. I want to say I'd be up over 10x this year if I didn't touch quantum. And that's after being up 24x last year. I fumbled way bigger amounts of money than 20-something, 20, 30 million. Listen, most of my money I make being an entrepreneur, not trading. You know, entrepreneurship is how I make hundreds of millions. You know, trading is, I'm not even a good trader, you know. I think it's worth selling a little bit up here if you're, one of the problems with long investments is as they go up, in this case up 8x or 4, 7x, you got to take some off the table because your position becomes your whole portfolio. Now, I still think it's bullish, right? It's only 140 million market cap. It's likely to be a $1 billion company, but they're going to dilute. And there's uncertainties as well. So, Brian, just send me a text. You know, you got my number on Godel. You just type in my name in Godel and you'll get my number. I've actually done 100 of those videos, 211. Just do Shkreli investing videos and you'll find it. I need your broker to report that you traded $1 zillion at the end of the year. Sir, your account traded $633 million this year. How's that possible? I took my 100 grand and I flipped it. You know, it's a volatile stock, so it's generally been going up. But I would not be surprised if they announced the financing very soon. But the financing can be a catalyst because they can go to these big funds, and the big funds say, how much do you need? 50? 50 million? Now that's 200,000 shares, dude. That's nothing. Right? So the funds will do it, and the funds say, I'll put the 50 in, I'll buy another 50 in the open market. These guys out there are local. And then other people are like, go put me in for 5 on the deal. Put me in for 2 mil. And then dudes would be like, the banker will be like, sorry, one fund took the whole deal. Sometimes. Now, remember that old stock drug, DRUG? A lot of people thought that was going to be kind of like that. I don't think it did well after that first big run. These guys actually have a decent drug, but drug DRUG, funny ticker, I know. They kind of had this, it was very murky. They didn't have much going on there. Oh, it's actually been fine. Does anybody remember when this thing just went up? Yeah, it was this day. It's like $1 to 50. We traded it. I think we even bought it. Does anybody remember that? DRUG?